Hi, everybody, and welcome.
Hang on. I just spilled my drink all over myself.
Hold on. Wow. Hi. Welcome to a fuck ton of shit dimes.
Whatever. Don't care. Just don't care anymore.
No. You named it.
I did name it, and we off the rails.
Why do you want me to?
5 seconds.
Oh,
in.
by the way, the tape literally is right there. It's literally right there.
That's a joke none of you will get.
Okay, so
I'm an idiot.
We want to do
Anyway.
this in like short periods of time because we ramble on for like a half hour.
Yep.
And we already wasted a minute literally doing nothing. So
We did. 30 seconds in.
We're going to talk. It's a minute. We're going to talk about The Post. The Post is the first one that we're going to talk about.
Yes, we are.
Steven Spielberg movie, and you kind of wonder, oh man, another Steven Spielberg nail biter, right?
Mm-hmm.
A movie with an old lady played by
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep and everyone's favorite Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Basically playing the owner and
Editor-in-chief of the
Washington Post during a scandal.
Pre-Watergate. I really liked this movie. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It was a little bit slow. I think I may have been spoiled by movies like Spotlight and some other, and All the President's Men, movies that kind of deal with the newspaper business that are kind of strictly about the story. This movie had moments where it was more about the actual goings-on behind the scenes of Meryl Streep's character owning the paper and the troubles and the hardships that they were going through. It made sense as part of the story, but if you're looking for a sheer newspaper kind of drama, this has a little bit more peppered into it. With a Steven Spielberg flair. You can obviously tell this was a Steven Spielberg movie, as pretty much any time you sit down, you go, yeah, it's Spielberg. But it was good. It was...
It's funny, though, if you do look at Spielberg's career, he really kind of started out with sort of like adventure, science fiction, kind of history, kind of thing like that. And then eventually he started, I think Schindler's List obviously is what really changed the tone. But he kind of went into this new part of his career and Amistad and things like that, where he started understanding the responsibility, I think, as a filmmaker to tell bigger stories and become a historian, if you will.
Yep.
To start telling people, like, hey, these are things that happen in history, and the only way to prevent things from happening in the future is to, I think, understand part of the past. So I've appreciated where he's gone, but on the same hand, you really miss that excitement that you get from a Spielberg movie from back in the day.
Well, you've got a new one coming up in a couple
super
weeks.
excited about Ready Player One. My son read it. I'm reading it right now, and I can't wait to get into it. But yeah, it's good to see him come back to that. But The Post is right up there with Munich and Amistad, and Schindler's List. I think is an entirely different beast. For sure, but this was a good movie that kind of showed a little bit of history, and if anything, this was perfectly in sync with the happenings that are going on right now. We both walked out of this, and there were way too many eerie parallels to what we have going on in our society right now.
Absolutely, just the way that things were covered up and withheld from us as the American public, and how we're questioning, and whether or not it is the media's right to question the freedom of press. There was a lot of those themes that kind of came through it. To kind of piggyback on what you said, I felt this movie was a little bit more akin in its historicalness to Lincoln, because there was a lot more, it just seemed, of the storytelling of the time that set it all up. And then once it gets started, after about 45 minutes of the movie, I saw one of the reviews said that it's like a train, and it really was. Like once it picked up steam, it didn't stop. It just kept going. And the only fault I found in it was I was hoping that there would have been a little bit more leading into the Watergate scandal, which it did at the end. Spoilers, of course, but the movie's been out. But right at the end, it does lead into that. And with that said,
and you know what? I would say that it ends the way Rogue One does.
Yep, very much so.
You literally are like, oh man, this is happening.
And then you watch All the President's Men.
And then, absolutely, go right into Resident.
And one of the things I said to Matt, because I recently rewatched All the President's Men, and if you haven't watched it, please do. It's a fantastic landmark in American cinema. But Jason Robards plays the same character that Tom Hanks plays. And Tom Hanks was really channeling Jason Robards in this movie, I felt. It was very similar because it was a prequel to a sequel, is the best way to say it. I really liked it. Is it the best picture of 2018? No. Is it Spielberg's best movie? No. But it's a very good movie.
Absolutely.
It's definitely one of the top 10 of last year.
I think it definitely shows sort of the abuse of power as well, in how basically the government at certain times can really hijack a lot of the freedoms that we have, which, like I said, I think is eerily parallel. So I definitely enjoyed it. I would definitely give it at least a 4 out of 5 or a 9 out of 10.
We're doing it out of 10.
We're doing it out of 10. Yeah. 9 dimes.
Yeah.
I give it a 9 dimes.
I give it a solid 8.5. Again, I thought it was good. It wasn't perfect, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments that did drag a little bit that, we're there for character, but after now sort of simmering with it for a bit, I do feel as if I watched those as deleted scenes, I would go, okay, yeah, I get it, and I understand why they cut it, and I think that there's a bedroom scene that happens that could have definitely been trimmed down a little bit more, but otherwise it was pretty good.
And that Nixon sex scene, that didn't belong in the movie.
No.
I mean, it was just sweaty flashback. I mean, it was like that Munich sex scene. It was kind of the same thing. It was Nixon, I'm not a... That didn't happen.
Yeah.
All right, so 8.5, 9. We're going to see you guys a little bit later on, but check it out, the post. It's really good.
Bye.
Bye.